Trap, yeah.
I got some guns in the stash. Yeah. It ain't no ones in this bag. Yeah. I hope this run like the last. Yeah. All for the love of the cash. I be the case for a strap on the GPS bracelet. Was sleep with the Mac. Had some niggas try to kill me. OT with the pack. Had to shoot off the spin like he reached in the hat. In the trenches all night with the junkies and killers. And boy, wasn't life. It was hard. It was white. It was lawyers and bills. It was kites. It was sales. It was visits. It was mice. Had to use the newspaper to stop up the door. It was life. It was messy. It was messy. Case they was Debbie's and Jason's and Freddy's. On tears with the killers. And big girl, she left me. Cause Ho said I fucked on my bestie. Them 2 a.m. rides out with Desi. The perks with the Pepsi. The shirt with the Reggie. Was burning the edges and baggies that turned into Benjis. My friends turned against me with 30s and specials. I had to fight back. Left my team and went solo. I had the Mike Jack. Used to post up with Ash and Janae like all night in the track. But she and Keys never went through it like that. Rats got my brother 15. Got me taking 15. This ain't way since 15. Nicks and trays in my jeans. Since they braid chasing cream. Put my faith in Belize. Had to make a believe what you give. How you wait versus receive. Don't you play for the greed. Take what you need. Leave the rest for the savings. Separate who ate from whom you need to feed. Cause these niggas take seconds off play to they team. Can't eat soup with a fork. Noodle spoon feeding your thoughts. Don't you ever be bought. Fuck with bitches that rather be taught. Talk is cheaper, way more when in bulk. I don't expect suckers to feel it. I was fake, I respect for my realness. No, we can't hang unless we build it. I've been on some shit and I still is. I got some guns in the stash. There ain't no ones in this bag. I hope this run like the last. All for the love of the cash. I got some guns in the stash. There ain't no ones in this bag.
Sent to a Florida boy, right?
Cartel. I can't fuck with you niggas is pussy. I know these bitches, they harder than you. If a nigga just stupid, I put out that iron. I strike his head down like I'm Pikachu. I don't fuck with that white, I get down on that brown. You already know what that Henny do. Take your head off your shoulder, now that's a fatality, boy. Come out to finish you. I don't really fuck with you, nigga, at all. I'm smashing out 20, I'm smoking the blunt while she all on my balls. And I know you don't like that little nigga. But you wanna come fight me, little nigga? Now you just wanna come take a picture. Fuck that, let me hit your bitch sister. The little sister might get a dick. Cause you know a nigga got dope dick. Hold your wrist up, nigga, that's a whole brick. Eat sushi, I'm playing with the top stick. Got your whole get land in the mouse pit. Keep a mask on me, nigga, like Blame Man. Make a nigga disappear like quicksand. Nigga want a cream boy like Wu-Tang, huh? Cartel printed on my Letterman jacket. Back in high school, I was rubbing in jacket. Kicking in dough, that was making me happy. 15 years old, smoking weed, I was trapping. Fucking these hoes in the back of the schoolhouse. Smoking the wood, put my dick in the damn Jabot jean. Had a nigga home porn. 4 12, I ain't going by the court.
All right. What's up, everybody? I know we're a little bit earlier than usual. We're going a little bit earlier tonight, so we're not doing a battle tonight, as said before, because we're going to be getting some. We're trying to get the roster up, get some fresh talent. You know, give it a break, let everybody, get some battles together. You know, put some things together. So we're gonna bring y'all a little podcast tonight. This is for all the people. You know, there's been a lot of people, obviously, that we've been doing these battles, and a lot of like underground producers and really talented people that, I've had conversations with them, and they're saying they're trying to take it to the next level. You know, they're trying to take it to the next level. They're not sure. They don't know what to do, things like that. So we figured I'm going to have one of my boys on here, a dude that I met a few years ago. I went on tour with Bubba Sparks, and he was Bubba Sparks' DJ. And we got cool over the years, man. And he's got a lot of knowledge. He's been in the game for a while. And yeah, my man Strizzo. Strizzo, what's good?
What up, blessings, man. Thank y'all for having me tonight, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So Striz, for the people that may not know you, why don't you kind of give them just like a rundown of like, you know, how long you've been in the game, like how the things you've done, things like that, just a little background.
Oh man, well, it goes back to fresh out of college. I was hired in radio, WRX BAM, 1590 St. Pete, and from there was hired onto the first hip hop station in Tampa Bay, which was Wild 98.7 at the time. which is Wild 94 Point now. Got fired from there.
Yeah.
Ended up getting hired at 95.7 The Beat as the first mixer over there. Throughout all of that, I DJ'd in all the clubs, all the parties. I just kind of built my brand, being that guy that just DJ'd, you know, for the radio station, but also wasn't too Hollywood to DJ in your backyard. And then in 2004, man, I took my tax return and I bought my first drum machine, MPC 2000. And then I started producing some music. And I didn't really like the music, but my DJ homeboys obviously had more confidence than I did. And they started playing it in the club. And then, man, from there, the stuff started blowing up, you know, as far as like on the party scene. And that's what made me have to get out of radio. I got out of radio because being in Tampa, you know, you got 2 radio stations that play like kind of like the similar format. The station I was working at the time didn't want to play my music to the magnitude that the other station did, you know, Wild. And so I had to make that decision, I want to say 12 years ago, man, to after 10 years in radio, I had to make that decision to get out of radio, man, and just go out there and follow my production. And, but it's crazy how things work, because full circle, the relationships that I established in radio with like Bubba Sparks, that's what took my DJ producer brand to a global level. And here I am, man. Long and short, met you on the last full tour that I did with Bubba.
Yeah.
You know, I still do spot dates with Bubba every now and again. It's my brother. But fast forwarding, they kind of leave me tonight, man. So I pretty much been DJing forever. You know what I mean? And I've been a part of two single major single deals. I've met probably every artist outside of Michael Jackson, and and that's it, man.
You do know everybody. I will say that. Like anytime, you know, like we're on tour, or anytime like you're at any show with any other artists, you do know everybody. Like everybody.
I made the Yellow Wolf documentary, bro, which was crazy to me.
Yeah. So you've done tour DJing for Bubba Sparks, Yellow Wolf, 69 Boys.
Yeah.
Petey Pablo.
Petey Pablo, yeah. I've done spot dates with Yin Yang Twins. I've done spot dates with JT Money. Oh my gosh. Quite a few people, man.
Okay.
So I got some questions. All right.
All right.
And
I could barely hear you.
Yeah, your mic's low, Cheeks.
I ain't never that low. You know I'm a loud guy. Can you hear me now?
You're getting there.
I'm getting there. Am I there yet?
Oh,
yeah.
You got that.
I know why. But am I there now?
Yeah.
All right. So I got a couple questions.
Yeah.
Number one, what college did you go to? Because you kind of sped through that.
Yeah. So I ended up I got an athletic scholarship to Southern Illinois. I lasted there for a semester. It was an athletic scholarship for track and football. But it was too cold for me, so I came back and then went to St. Pete College. And I went to St. Pete College for marketing, and mass communications was actually going to be a minor. But I ended up, being that I was DJing like all the parties and stuff, the radio station stepped to me and was like, yo, like, will you be our night guy? And,
so how'd you get your start in DJing? That came from a kid? Was it somebody in the family?
You know what? That came from my doggone youth football coach putting us on the back of a truck on on Sundays and taking us to the flea market. And he would always like flip these cassette decks, you know, the double cassette deck. And I just kind of fell in love with the whole cassette deck and turntable thing, man. But he would take them and just resell them, you know, go to the flea market, buy them and resell them. And I ended up like just falling in love with those, man. But I was always raised around vinyl records and everything, but I never really started messing with them until my Coach Bean, started taking me to the flea market, man. Then, so basically from there, I made my bedroom, I called it the boom room when I was a kid. And then I just started, like, I would beg people to DJ at their backyard party. You know,
so you remember the first party you DJ'd?
I do not. I remember the first party that I threw that was like significant, and it was at a rec center called the Martin Luther King Center in Clearwater.
Okay.
And I just remember it was packed. It was after the football game. You know, there was youth football. You know, the field was literally like the parking lot over.
Okay.
And Martin Luther King Center, if you went to the game, you could just like literally walk over to the field. I just remember being in the field. My boys like, man, let's just throw a party, and they let us do it. You know, my mama ran the door. You know, ran the front door, and and it was packed. I mean, we had these real just over crazy speakers, and I remember leading up to that because I wanted to start doing that. My mama made me go work at Winn-Dixie and bag groceries to raise money to get my my first set of DJ equipment. Like, she just wouldn't go out and get it for me. She was like, so I was doing paper plastic at 14 years old, man.
So what year was that?
Oh man,
not the ager.
Oh, I'm 40, man. So
okay.
You know,
okay.
Yeah, I'm 40, man. So this had to be in the 90s.
So this was heavy bass music, heavy Uncle Luke.
Yeah.
Heavy,
man, let me tell you something. The first cassette tape, and I wasn't even supposed to be allowed to buy this at the time. The first cassette tape that I ever bought in my entire life was Two Live Crew Nasty's They Want to Be.
Okay.
Sunshine Mall in Clearwater that don't exist no more. But I never forget the guy. And so I walked in there and I went to get it, and I was going to get the clean version because, you know, at the time they had just started putting, you know, Luke was the reason why they started putting parental advisory stickers on cassettes. And I went looking for the clean one, and they didn't have the clean one. So I just grabbed the one, and I walked up, and the dude, he ain't asked me nothing. And I knew I wasn't of age. You know what I mean? He just sold it to me, man. And then from there, the second cassette tape I bought was LL Cool J, the Bigger and Deffer, and the third one was Salt and Pepper. I remember those three like clockwork. But
how'd you get the job at radio?
So I was doing all the little parties locally, you know, just throwing every Sunday. It used to be this talent show out in St. Pete at this place called the Galaxy. And I would just show up, man. We would get in the back of the, like, you know, I was real big in sports. So my mom ended up getting a truck. It was a green truck. We called it the Green Monster. And we would all just jump on the back of the truck, and we would take our speakers and go to this place called the Galaxy and do these little talent shows. And so basically, long and short, all my, you know, my last 2 years of high school leading up into college, I was throwing all the big team parties. And the radio station had always had an older demographic, and they wanted to tap into a younger demographic. So they asked me to do their night, you know, which was the biggest slot, you know, prime time, so 7 to midnight. So they just stepped to me. They was like, look, you know, you got the city on lock as far as all the teams go, you know, and we'd love for you to just do your show from 7 to midnight. And I was like, cool.
So you kind of didn't have to do none of the interning or running around? Or...
Nah, man, they just hired me. They just hired me, man.
Was there any animosity towards that? Because, you know, in this game, there'd be a lot of animosity when people come in.
Oh, yeah. So the night guy that I took over his slot, they moved him to like middays or something, you know. So off rip, you know, it was one of them things where, like, how you gonna take me from my time slot? You know what I mean?
Especially for a kid.
Right. And I was what, 19, 18? You know? So yeah, that wasn't good at first. It was just, you know, he just would, you know, like literally I'd come in there and he would just sit in the other room, and like if like maybe a transition or something was wrong, he would be like, nah, you do the transition like this. But at the end of the day, the boss at the station, he was like, yo, you doing just fine, you know?
Yeah.
But you know how that go, man.
Is he still in radio or no?
Nah, man, I got out of radio. I said the only way that
No, I
was
say
gonna
Heat.
get-
I was talking about Heat. The guy.
Oh, that guy? I have no idea.
Okay, so he kind of like disappeared off the face of the earth.
Yeah, I have
You
no
know, say
idea.
people. Okay.
Yeah, I have no idea, man.
So as far as like, you know, we kind of talked about like what you used to do. So like what would you say like your main thing is now, like your main focus?
My DJ brand. So I realized I kind of got forced into. I think I talked to you about this a few times, Gambo. But I really was never a rapper. I just kind of got like in the rapping thing because it was like I made the beat and nobody else was around to, to rap the part I needed.
Yeah.
You know, so in the early 2000s, you know, I dropped the first single that kind of took off called Low Low, which I just re-released on all the platforms and everything. But at the time, you know, nobody wanted to like rap for me, you know, like I couldn't get nobody to rap for me. So I did it myself.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's basically like, I didn't even want to rap on Busted Wide Open, you know, but it was like, at the time, my voice was like, I was going through an acid reflux thing at the time. And so people think that when I cleared my throat before the verse was like some cool sound and stuff, I was like, nah, man, I was like really like in a transition in my life at that time, like trying to fix my voice, you know? So I never, you know, I never really was into the rapping thing. I've always been a DJ, man. And so I realized, cause that's how Bubba, you know, lured me in, bro. Bubba was like, yo, man, like, you know, like all these songs are doing their thing out here, you know, on the radio, but you know how it is in Tampa, man. And it's true. You know, Tampa is definitely a interesting market to say the least. It's a big market, but it's an interesting market. And so he was like, this will be your opportunity to like grow your DJ brand to a whole nother level. And I remember that day, like it was a Tuesday. I was sitting in front of the fire pit at Whiskey Joe's, man. At the time it was called Castaway. And I had that opportunity and I told him, I gave him 24 hours to make my decision. I made it and I was on the airplane that next week, man. And I have not looked back since, man. But my DJ brand, it was Bubba Sparks that really was like, look, you know, you need to go out there and bring yourself as a DJ, you know? And so that's been my focus, man. Yeah, I still jump around and like, you know, Chance asked me to give him that down record that you shot the video for.
Yeah.
You know, I ain't even want to rap on that, you know, but he's like, yo, Striz, man, you got it. I'm like, all right. So, but yeah, I'm a DJ, man. I'm a DJ and I'm a producer.
Yeah.
I make club music. I got, obviously, you know, my track record is long with club music. It's so long, I can't get nobody in Tampa to do the IG battle with me.
Yeah. Hey,
for
man.
whatever reason.
Hey, man, get somebody and you can do it. You can do it on this platform, dog.
Yeah,
I would love to, bro. Nobody won't challenge me.
Yeah. We so as far as like what I wanted to kind of segue to tonight. So you know, for the people that are going to watch this later, for the people that are watching now, basically, you know, it's one of those things where I, you know, as somebody that used to really like grind with the artist stuff, and to be honest, I just got tired of it. I just, you know, I got some other opportunities in my life that I just, you know, it's like it's like you know what I mean? Like, you know, I do the rap thing, but I can do the DJ thing and, you know, whatever. So it was like, you know, I always tell people, a lot of artists I see, like young, talented artists, you know, because I owned a studio for like years. Like we literally just closed the studio down a couple months ago when the engineer moved away. So I used to come across all these guys all the time that were really talented, and they were always stuck in the same place. And I always like said to people, like the biggest problem I see with young artists are like, it's like the hamster in a wheel mentality, right? Like they just run and run and run and run, but they don't know where they're going. Like they have no direction. You know what I mean? It's just like, I'm going to make music and make as much music as possible, as much fire music as possible, and then like put it on SoundCloud and like I'm going to blow up. right? And like they don't understand all of the things behind it, the marketing, the branding, the the certain kind of content, things like that. What would you say, like, as somebody that works with a lot of artists, especially like younger up and coming artists, what do you think like the main like one of the like what's some of the things that you see where people go wrong, like their lack of direction?
So with artists, the main thing I see is they believe that a whole bunch of content is the way to win. And what you got to understand, it's a big world out there. And when you a new artist, what's stuff get old to us quick. But what's old to us is brand new to the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I always use the Jordans analogy. The biggest selling shoes right now is Jordans. Jordans came out in the 80s.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like it is new and relevant to like a whole new demographic of people. And you got to understand that when you don't have a major deal, your lifespan is so much longer. That's why, as a person that's been a part of 2 major deals, when you with a major, they hold plot is to flip the investment quick. They want to put you on like 6 months, flip the investment, go to the next investment. If you continue to make the money, they just keep flip.
Mm-hmm.
That's the major record label game. The independent game is your lifespan is way longer. But what artists try to do is they try to compete with the major artists. They try to drop content, like the major artists, because they sitting there looking at this major artist on YouTube or whatever. And that's the one thing I learned, in radio. I'm so thankful for radio. Is in radio, we would get stuff like so late, you know what I mean? But people would think it was new. But in that particular market that it came from, it had been out a year, 2 years in advance.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's only a certain amount of number of records that make it what you call mainstream. Because the major labels, obviously the major labels build themselves off of catalogs. And what these artists don't realize is that they try to keep stacking instead of just having a solid quality over quantity catalog.
Mm.
And so it's like they'll put out a record and it ain't moving in like a couple months and they jump to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the worst thing you could do.
Yeah.
That is the worst thing you can do, because at the end of the day, you're not giving it any real, until you put like significant consistent resources behind something, because you'll know if a record gonna work and not work.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have that feeling. But just because it's not getting the numbers that you want doesn't mean that it won't work.
Can I challenge that?
Yeah, of course.
I agree, but it's case by case with each artist to me. There are some artists, not case by case by each artist. It's case by case by what part. This to me, from what I've seen. I don't got to go into my back. Well, I come from the music scene too. I'm an indie just like you. Been around, been a part of some major label deals, right, and blah.
Right.
But it depends on what part of their timeline they're in, right? So if they're at that beginning phase and they haven't really found their sound yet, and they find that their songs are not working, it's counterproductive to put the money behind music that isn't ready yet for the masses. Well, not put the money behind, to dump too much into one resource, as opposed to keep dropping products until you find the one that works for you.
Right. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Boom, you hit it. That's the gray area. I totally did. I jumped out of that gray. Yeah. Boom.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You gotta find your sound first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you could be a singer, but you feel more comfortable. You think people want to hear you rap, right? But like you know that you can sing right over here. But you're gonna drop these raps, but you really need to be over here singing. You know what I mean? And so yeah, I get what you're saying. And yeah, so you're right.
What I found is these artists, they get into really trying to do what somebody else is doing, right? And what you're doing is you're not putting yourself in for the work. Like Nipsey said it best, it's a marathon. And Nipsey showed you what the marathon looks like. You know, for different artists, that marathon is different. See, some artists come out the box and they grab attention that other artists can't grab.
Right.
For whatever reason. They're dope boys, they come from club black scenes. They got somebody backdooring the industry for them.
Right.
For some artists, it is better to do quality projects over quantity projects.
Right.
But with some artists, I'll give you a perfect one. This is my opinion now. Gucci Mane.
Right.
At one point, he was kind of focused on the quality, and he was trying to run neck and neck with Jeezy. Okay, and let's be honest, the quality wasn't there. When you judging a song like So Icy, which is everybody loves the song now.
I got a story about So Icy, by the way. But okay,
I want that story though. But when you're trying to run neck and neck with Jeezy, who now is at the point of TN 101, you can't compete with that.
Right.
So once he dialed back and went to just putting out mixtape after mixtape after mixtape, and then you can hear where Gucci found his sound, that's when it was like, okay, now put the correct money behind everything. You know what I'm saying? What's that story about So Icy though?
Oh, so man, when that song came out, I was in radio at the time, and I've always been a guy at the stations that would pick the hits. And I could never. I remember seeing Gucci Mane at the TJ's DJs conference, and I remember him just being on stage performing.
I got a story about him. Keep going.
Yeah, with this long chain on, you know, it was iced out, and it didn't sound good to me. You know, obviously Jeezy went up there with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the song was just like I just didn't like it, but it ended up being a big record. It ended up being a huge record, and so I was wrong about. That's the one record in my radio days that I was wrong about, because I would always get asked to pick the hits. Man, pick this one, like, you know, pick this hit, pick the ones that we do research on. And that one, I was always like, it's garbage. And as it got big, obviously I had to play it, you know, at the club. But I never could. To this day, I really don't like that record. To be honest,
it got big because of the push of the label.
Right.
See with the label push, that's where the label push comes in, because it'll take a song that is, and it'll make it a classic.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's that push of the label.
Here's the thing, though, is like in 2020, 99.9% of these artists are never going to see a record deal. That just is what it is. So like that's why I always say, man, you got to focus on what works for you. Like, yeah, like anybody, if they get $1 million in marketing behind them, they could get a hit song. They could go gold just based off fucking bots playing their shit to boost their views up. Like at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? But I think like going back to like what we were talking about before with, you know, like the mistakes, I also think that like you said, that the content, not only just like the amount of content, either just trying to throw, you know, a bunch of shit at the wall and see what sticks, but also not being able to target that content and not understanding. Like, I feel like too many people, kind of like what Cheek said, they a lot of people kind of want to be the same. You know, they fight over the same demographic, whether it's the street demographic or it's the young, you know, get high demographic. Like, it's like literally you see so many people, and then you see local artists fighting over the same 50 fans, right? Like they're trying to be the shit amongst 50 to 75 people.
Tampa.
And they don't, that's where we're from. That's Wilmington. That's Palm Beach. It's everywhere. It's any local town. You know what I mean? And people don't realize, like you say all the time, man, like with Chance, right? Like Chance to do a show in Tampa and have like 150 people out there. He'll go to fucking Bumblefuck, Kentucky and have 500 people out there. Like there's this huge fan base in middle America. that no one ever focuses on, that's just sitting there waiting to listen to music that they like, and they support the shit out of it, you know? And I had somebody, you know who actually told me this? Y'all know who Nino Brown is?
Nino Brown,
Yeah, the fucking dude, the social media dude. He said that shit too. I actually ran into him one time. This was a couple years ago. We were talking, and I ran into him, and he said, look, he's like, nobody's ever gonna love you in your hometown until people outside of your hometown love you.
Love you.
He said, like, everybody's focused on getting that city love. You're always just going to be, you know, that person that everybody knew when, you know, your girl slapped you in the face at the party, or like you fucking have busted shoes in school, or whatever it may be. And I always tell people this story. When we were on that Bubba tour and we went to Michigan, right? We went to Michigan and it was my birthday, and Bubba brought me up on stage and did Miss New Booty and like whatever, all that. When I got on stage, I had all these chicks coming up to me, like, and they were like, "Oh, you probably got a big house. You probably got this and that." Like, oh, because they like thought I was like Bubba Sparks, like boy, and like that meant I'm like some millionaire. But it was just a perception that it was like this perception that when you go to places where nobody knows you and they only know you for music, you captivate them differently than when they know you personally. It just is what it is.
Mm-hmm. See, like what I do, okay, because see, you both have the music background. You DJ, you do video, you also do the beats. I don't do none of that. I'm a suit. You know how on Entourage they used to say, "Yo, put your suit up." Suit, you're a suit. You know what I mean? I'm a suit pretty much. But I make stars because I do things behind the scenes, and I see a picture before it's done. I see the diamond in the coal. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So when I look at an artist, when Gambo really talks about these mistakes that they make, and they're fighting over these same 75 people, it's because you can't do things like everybody else and expect to get better results than the other person.
Yeah.
Because you're already behind the curve. You've already put yourself behind the curve because they're already, if you're doing what they're doing, they're already 2 months ahead of you. Sometimes 6 months ahead of you. Mm-hmm. You can't fight that fight. You have to do you. You know what I mean? So I say that to say, when you see these artists and then they fall into doing them, what stops some of those artists from then going to that next level once they found themselves?
Well, you know what it is, man? It's figuratively and literally. So a lot of these artists will watch what they see on YouTube. A lot of what these artists that are out here, you know, blowing like the Migos, whatever. So they'll watch all of that and they'll like watch it thinking literally that's what is going on. But figuratively, that's not what's going on. Is behind the scenes. They got a budget. They have people that's editing the videos and everything. So they looking at like a microcosm in a 3-minute, you know, box of like, oh man, I want to be like the Migos. But they're not seeing that there's a real full big engine behind them.
Behind
you know, like for instance, I was just talking to a person about the Migos Super Bowl party. Y'all heard about the Migos Super Bowl party?
The stripper joint?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Stripper Bowl.
They threw, it was supposed to be the biggest party. They threw a couple $1 million, right? The chicks couldn't take none of that, but it looked good.
Well, no, they were supposed to get paid hourly.
Each chick walked out of there with $1,100.
But listen, no,
wow,
that was just bad budgeting and planning. Because 50 Cent talked about how they do the same thing and they make sure that they have a certain amount of girls. They had too many girls for the amount of money that was being put in.
Yeah, but think about it though. But think about it. If you are a stripper or you're a rapper trying to hang out with the strippers and all the rappers, and you think you're going in here, they throwing all this money. All you thinking in your head, man, nah, I got to figure out how I'm going to throw $1 million at the club like the Migos. They're not understanding there's a whole business going on behind the scenes. You know, like us, we know that stuff, but these artists need to understand that, like literally, You know, like the rappers talking about how they gonna, you know, run up on you, chopper. If they were shooting people up like that, they wouldn't be rapping.
Yeah. I think that's another thing too, is the content of their music. You know, the content of the music. Like, I think there's like this misconception, especially in like rap music, that that like you can't be yourself. Like, it's okay to like not be, you know, not rap like that. It's okay because everybody's rapping. Like, you look at people like Lil Dicky, right? Lil Dicky. You look at fucking people like Juice WRLD. Juice WRLD used to talk like some, you know, deep shit about depression and like, and those guys, you know, blew up. And there's 1,000,001 people that are rapping about selling drugs and shooting people and things like that, man. And I think
and then they wonder why somebody like Juice WRLD blow up.
Yeah,
you know.
And it's also just when you talk about like professionalism, right? Because like I try to tell people about this. You know, like I used to get pissed at my boys all the time when we had shows. Right, we had shows, we were promoting it, stuff like that. The doors open at 9. I was there at 7:45, making sure everything's straight, making sure the music's good, the mics is working, make sure everybody's in place, everything. They would show up at 10:30, drunk, ready to just hop on stage, and I would tell them like, "Yo, like y'all ain't made it yet, right? Like you got to be professional." Right. Like if this is our shit, if this is our, like, you want to be a professional, you got to move as such. You can't just walk in 5 minutes before you go on, do your set, and then walk off like you're the shit. You got to be there when the doors open, greet every single person that comes in, build a relationship with every single person that comes through the door, because people want to feel like they're a part of something. They really do, man. Yeah, I mean, you see, like, all right, so anybody out there, so Strizzo also manages an artist named Second Chance, who I'm good friends with, and he's a perfect example. You know, like he used to work his own merch booths, and he had videos with 10 million views, and he's working his own merch booth. You know, so what, as somebody that you know is would, if you were to like sit down with a up and coming artist and try to like give them some game about like how to build a brand and then monetize that brand, what would some things that you would say?
Well, the first thing you gotta know is who your demographic is, who you're catering to, and sometimes you'll try to, like, you know, cater to somebody that's not in your demographic, you know. So I would tell them, first and foremost, you know, go to your Spotify, go to your Facebook, and just click all the cities and the age range of the people that, you know, that's rocking with you right now, because you want to start there. You know, you want to start with the, you know, with people that's already rocking with you. The worst thing you could do is try to alienate the people that's already rocking with you and go just try to grab a whole bunch of other people. Because you got to realize the people that's already rocking with you, they know other people, they know other people. You know, and so what you want to do is you want to build, like, you want to plant seeds and build a tree. You can't build a tree from the sky down.
But you got to talk about them seeds though, because first of all, you got to put your music in the right places, the right way, to even get your numbers back. Right. And a lot of people miss that one step right there.
Right.
They think just go sign up for TuneCore, throw it wherever, and leave it there. No. You need to be getting accurate data back,
right,
about how your music is being streamed.
So this is where I get real serious about stuff, man, because being an artist is a job. It's a full-time job.
Full-time. And
you have to look at it as in, if you're gonna go out here and dedicate yourself as a full-time artist, and you want to get full-time money, and you want to be able to go out here and do this, you got to look at it like. You can't just look at it as in like, okay, like this is an expense. You got to look at it as an investment. You have to invest in yourself. The same way that you make sure your phone bill is paid every month, you need to make sure that you invest in your brand every month the same way. You're not gonna let your cell phone get cut off. at all. Nobody gonna let their cell phone get cut off. So the same, you ain't gonna let your lights get cut off. You need to put, if you trying to do this for a living, you put it right up there with the importance of that stuff. I'm not gonna let my cell phone get cut off. I'm not gonna let my lights get cut off. I'm not gonna starve. When you start looking at the music business like that, then stuff changes.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, like I said, goes back to acting professional. Like treat it as a job. Show up on time. Don't fucking be in the club acting a fool, fighting and pissing the promoters off, because then they're not going to want to book you again. Don't act like you're too good to talk to the people in the crowd, because they're the ones that are be buying your CDs, buying your T-shirts, things like that. I mean, that kind of goes to monetizing. But I mean, you're right though, and what a lot of people don't realize, I had this argument with tons of my friends, like people that I love and care about, they would complain, oh, I'm not getting enough views and this and that. How do you get so many views, man? I don't understand. I invest in myself. At the end of the day, if you can go out on a Friday night and you can spend $50 on alcohol and weed, you can wake up on a Saturday morning and spend $50 on some fucking Facebook advertising or some Instagram advertising, and that shit is dirt cheap. I used to spend $100 a week and I would reach fucking 25 to 50,000 new people a week.
Let me tell you something, fellas. I have talked to artists, and I consult as well. And you'll sit there and talk to them about, okay, well, you need to put, at least minimum a couple $100 into social media marketing, in order to start getting your views up, to start, getting your streams up, XYZ. They will pull you in every direction about that couple $100, but you just saw them in the club a couple days ago, pop bottles, stand on the couch,
That's because
do
that shit was
everything for
tax
like that,
money.
a couple hundred people in the club. And let me tell you something, with $200, Gambo, for a fact, with $200, you can reach a whole bunch of people on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's because you talking about now the tax time ballers, and you're talking about the niggas who getting up there and they doing a lot of fronting.
Clout.
I live in Atlanta, and pretty much in a nutshell, anything anybody has done, we at one point figured out how to do it for way cheaper than anybody else.
Right.
So at one point we had perception down to a key to where you thought that we just purchased 9 bottles. We brought them 9 bottles with us.
Mm-hmm.
We worked out that deal with the club.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or with the promoter. So people, for instance, I'll tell you a great story. Artist I used to work with, Alice Rodriguez, my business partner. We had our crew, Get Down Music Group, right? And everywhere we went, we had 6 chicks, 8 dudes, right? But what they don't know is people would see and be like, oh, y'all walk in, y'all got the chicks, and y'all got the, man, that's his brother. I mean, that's his wife. That's her sister.
Uh-huh.
That's her sister's cousin. You get what I'm saying? And these are just the everyday people that we get to come out. And the only thing we always had to guarantee was that they get in for free.
Right.
It's just that easy to create your entourage. And from there, we built a team of people who would do anything for us because we took care of them.
Right.
And once you start building those networks, that's when you really networking for your net worth. You know what I mean?
Facts.
For real.
Facts.
Yes. All right. So let's recap real quick, because we talked about kind of we've been moving up the ladder, right? We've been number one. I would say number one thing is treat it like a job. Remember, you're professional. You're not a gangster. You're not a fucking party animal. You're not too good for people. You're not, you're a professional. Like treat it as it's your job. Like you,
like the job.
I do got one thing to say about that.
Yeah.
If you are one of those 3 things, then you need to be ready to give up more percentage of yourself. because
Right.
there are people who have to handle you and take care of you.
There
So
you go.
don't want to give those
Yeah,
up.
That's
You-
facts.
If you don't want to give up more yourself, then you need to not be one of those three
You
things.
hit it right on the nail, because what these artists are doing, they're watching, say, like an artist in the VIP, like say the Migos or Plies. They don't understand. There's a big engine behind them, making
Yes.
all this stuff look the way it look, making all the dots connect. There's people behind the scenes doing that. So if you want to sit there and look important like that, know that you cutting a check for people to make you look important like that.
Very point blank. That pie is getting split up.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear no. You went 80% of your pie,
Yep.
nigga. You was drunk all night. I had to carry you home.
Yep.
I need my 10 to 15%. What we talking about?
Yep. Facts.
So
Just
we
like that.
So we got to be the professional, and then your content. Find out, obviously, of course, find your sound and things like that. But make content. Don't just think about, shoving shit out every other day, but think about getting something that's going to captivate people and knowing what the audience for that content is and targeting them. Be
You
different.
definitely
You got to
gotta
set
find your
yourself.
lane.
You got to set yourself apart. There's
Yep.
everybody. Look, I had somebody I was bagging up. This boy was at my house. He was outside, and he was like, he said, South Florida. He said you could throw a rock up in the air and hit 3 rappers. And it's the truth, and that's how it is anywhere, right? That's how it is. So you got to set yourself apart. I always use Joyner Lucas as a perfect example. Joyner Lucas, instead of dropping a shit ton of music all the time, he would make sometimes the music wasn't even made for like album. It was just like a video song,
Like a Lucy.
and
Yeah.
it would be something that was super creative and captivated people.
Right.
So I would say, all right, so boom, let's fast forward to just say somebody, they act professional, they got their catalog, they targeted it correctly, they start to grab people. Now how they're going to make money off of it, because I think a lot of people get it confused to think you're going to make $200,000 a year off streams. Usually it doesn't happen like that. Especially in the beginning. I got 160,000 streams last year on Spotify without dropping a project, and I think I made $90 from Spotify.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
G shit. Like I'm just keeping it real. Like, you know what I mean? And this is something that somebody told me before. They said it was called the 100-10-1 rule. So basically, for every $100 you spend as an artist, whether it is traveling to that open mic or Facebook advertising or whatever it may be, your goal is to get 10 new fans out of that. Out of those 10 fans, your goal is to get 1 super fan. That's like, out of that 10 people, you just really work on 1 person, getting them to buy in and become basically your own street team. And then what you got to realize is you spend $100, you get those 10 people, right? Now let's say you drop a project that you're selling for $5, and then you press up some t-shirts, and the profit is $15 a piece, and then you have one show that they come out to, and it's $10 to get in. That's $30. You just tripled your money right there.
Mhm.
Right there.
And so Striz, like, as somebody that's eating independently, and I done worked the fucking merch booth for you, so I know how it is. So like, why don't you give people some different ways other than getting streams on like how you really got to maneuver to actually make money nowadays independently?
So if you're not in a position to say tour, you definitely want to be throwing your own shows. A lot of these venues will let you go in and get the door. They get the bar, because at the end of the day, liquor. So say if you say let's do a low number. If you got 50 people that come to a club, the bar itself gonna make a couple grand. That's a good night for any venue owner. So you get the door and you start throwing your own shows. That's also a way for you to build your own network. And then once you like get your name up like that from throwing your own shows, then you can go and like start getting openers and all that other stuff. So you want to do that. So you want to have it to where you could tour or if you're not in a position to say tour city to city, you want to start throwing your own shows. And merchandise is very important. You want to definitely have some merch. And now there's a lot of I actually just did a merch deal with a company where you don't have to buy all the stuff and sit it in your storage room.
Drop shipping it.
Yeah, you can just drop ship it. They have different fulfillment, centers around the world. And you basically you make your design with all your stuff, and you can make it as your own. But you put it out there, you put a price on it, and you collect the profit. That's what you would do anyway. If you had a box of shirts sitting right there, right next to you, and you sold them, you got the profit, it would be the same as if you go and you sell it online, they drop ship it and you get the profit.
And then once
same amount of same thing, less the headache.
You give up a little bit more money for less headache, especially when you're at the beginning.
Right. So yeah, like for instance, if you say a fulfillment company, if you go somewhere and you get a shirt wholesale for say $7.50, right? But you got the box over there sitting in the corner. But you can go through a fulfillment center and pay say $12.50, and then you upcharge it to say $25 a t-shirt. Yes, your profit is less $5. But think about you not having to drive to the post office. You're not having to print out the labels, get ink to print the labels, because if you're doing a lot of merch, you got to keep printing, all the labels, and the time that it take to go to the post office and XYZ. And then you could just get your merch that you're going to take on the road with you. So for the online stuff, you work out the deal with the different fulfillment centers, you know what I mean, to do that. And then you have a couple boxes that you take on tour with you to actually sell the stuff. So merchandise is huge. Merch is, I know a couple artists, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind if I said it. Jelly Roll, for instance, when me and Jelly Roll first got super cool, it was during the Trial by Fire tour.
Who Jelly Roll?
Who's Jelly Roll?
Yeah, you check him out. He's fire. He's really talented. He's like
the name got me.
Yeah. Jelly Roll is he's from Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
Well, he's from Tennessee, right outside of Nashville, but rapper. But he did so good in merch. I remember because I was the one at the time collecting everybody's money. He had went out on the Trial by Fire tour with Yellow Wolf for a very low guarantee. Like a guarantee that, like, I don't think any artist would of that stature would take, but he knew he was gonna kill it in merch. So every night, because I was going and collecting the money, what it was, but he would kill it in merch. And boom. And now look at Jelly Roll now. He just signed a couple album deal with Strange, which is gonna build his brand.
They the merch gods.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the merch god.
Strange music is like if anybody out there wants to study like how to eat independently, watch some Strange music documentaries and shit like that.
You know about like the farm that they have all their merch comes from off their farm, pretty much. They have a plastics, what's it called, textile or something, like warehouse. They also have the t-shirt warehouse, and they have the warehouse that makes all of their stuff. So when you see Strange music on tour, everything they have is 100% made by them.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, bro. And so, bringing it full circle. Exactly. So it's so much money in merchandise. And if you don't have the upfront money to go out and buy a bunch of merch, if you got people that follow you, you could go and get them to start buying stuff through a fulfillment network, which they not gonna know. They're not gonna know that somebody else is printing up that shirt and mailing it to them, because what it does is it make your operation look bigger. Yeah, I have a team of people that print up my stuff. You order from them, and then when it show up to their house, it's all packaged and nice and everything, and they think you doing it big, but you know that you're going through a third party to get it done. But merch is important. Merch is very important. Throwing your own shows, because with throwing your own shows, and Gambo, you know this too. You don't need to have 500 to 1,000 people in there to make some money.
You could do it off 50.
Yeah, you can get 50. You can get literally 50 people in the venue.
Yep.
At say $10. You know.
And then get them to hustle off CDs and shit like that. Yep. You drop a CD, they get $10 ticket, $5 CD, and then that T-shirt that you make $10, $15 off of, and you just turn 50 people into $1,500 in one night.
Real quick.
Just like I used to do it all the time.
Yeah, bro. I used to sit back. Let me tell you something. Gambo used to get off the stage, and he would be like the guy at the arena. Popcorn, he would have them CDs. And let me tell you something. I would go to Gambo at the end of the night and be like, man, how many CDs you got left? He's like, man, I sold them all. Like, this would be every night.
Mm-hmm.
Like, however many CDs he allotted for that night, they would be gone. Like, gone, bro. And yeah, so it's so much to get as an independent artist before you know it. And let's do the math. Let's do the math here. So if you go out there, say every weekend, and say you ain't got to go out there and do like a whole bunch of shows. Just say you go a couple of times a weekend, and you do a Friday and a Saturday, and you get 50 people in the venue. Okay, at $10, you done made $500. You done sold some merch. You done made $1,200. So that's $1,200 times 2. Okay, you done made $2,400 every weekend. Do the math.
That's better than a full-time job.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy is my boy Chris. So he's a songwriter. He's got like 11 songs with Logic. Like he works behind the scenes, like production, arrangement, all that shit. He's real cool with Logic. And he was telling me about how Logic came up. And Logic literally used to do shows. He started his first show at Joe's Crab Shack, okay, in front of like 12 people. And then they did it like 2 weeks later, and there was like 15 people. And then 2 weeks later, and there was 20 people. And he just kept doing it until literally like 6 months later, the shows were now 300-400 people, and they were too big for Joe's Crab Shack. So they went and got another, venue. And that's literally how he built. That's how Logic became what he is now. Is literally starting out doing 12-person shows at Joe's Crab Shack and
what
built
is
it.
Logic?
Huh?
What is Logic?
Hey, come on, man. Everybody hates on Logic. At the end of the day, look, you don't gotta like his music.
I'm just asking.
You don't got. I don't look. I'm not like a huge Logic fan or anything like that. But at the end of the day, like, look, like perfect example of finding your audience. Not saying fuck what everybody else thinks. I'm going to focus on my demographic. I'm going to give my demographic the love, and I'm going to fucking work this shit out of the people that fuck with me.
Right.
And not try to fight over everybody else. So Logic really is the perfect fucking example.
Set me right, Gambo. Set me right. That's what I'm talking about.
Hey, man. Hey,
I still don't like your shit, though.
Hey.
I still can't get with that shit.
And Russ is another one. Russ is the same.
I like Russ, though.
Russ is fire. Russ is fucking fire.
The shit.
But he's the same. He's the same exact thing, man.
Russ is authentic. Russ is hip hop. I like Russ.
It's one of those things, man, where to get to where you really want to go, it just takes a little bit of effort and not following what everybody else is doing. And once you find your lane, it's a wrap. And that's one thing about me. I know my lane. I'm a producer of club, party, mainstream type music, but I've always been a part of other types of music like country, and rock and roll and things like that. So I know how to go in and make them all mesh and blend together. And I never cared about what everybody else was thinking. I know that they respect it. They have to.
Were you scared to get into that lane? I'm asking Gambo the same thing. Were you scared when you got with like a Bubba Sparks and you kind of with like a Yellow Wolf? Like, are you scared of? Was you a little bit like timid? Like, well, this ain't really the mainstream rap scene.
Nah, man. Let me tell you something, bro.
That
And I'm
yeah.
gonna be, I'm
Go
gonna be
for it.
completely 100 with you.
I'm asking because I'm a nigga.
Yeah, no, like,
You know what I'm saying?
me,
So
me and you both.
yeah,
But
yeah.
let me tell you, let me tell you, me and you both. Though you will roll up to a mud park.
Yeah.
And you would get more love from them people than you would get at any Freaknik, any spring break weekend. Like, and it's just, and I don't know if it's a social thing or a cultural thing, but they show you so much love. And I think a lot of them do go over the top because of all the shit that's going on in the world, you know, the police brutality. So when you black and you in one of those places, they try extra hard to make sure that you comfortable. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because it's like, look, we're not one of those crazy cops that even the cops that you meet at these events are like extra, you know, nice because like yeah, man, we're not one of those asshole cops, you know. But yeah, nah, man, it's always been welcoming, bro.
I'm just asking because I've always been on the other side, that semi, like the we'll call it the hood side.
Yeah.
And you know, there's different avenues in rap. Like when you talk about a lot of people y'all talk about come from that other avenue of rap that I'm not particularly from. And I always wonder.
So I know this is our first time linking, but bro, I built my whole brand in the hood.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it.
Like the biggest night in Tampa for 8 years at the Underground Saturday night was me and DJ Shotgun. Like, you know, the biggest Friday night during the Buccaneers Super Bowl era was Club Joy, which is now Whiskey North. So I built my whole club party music brand between the hood and the colleges.
So that's why I was asking that, because I wanted to know when you got over there, and like you said, you walk into a mud bowl, and like Gambo was telling me when he got to the Midwest and the people treated him like royalty, it's like, yo,
yeah,
this is different.
So you got to look at things that kind of bridge the gap, right? I know for me, you look at an artist like, say, Bubba Sparks, right?
He's like Jesus. He's like the Jesus of country rap.
Yes,
them dudes fucking love him. It's crazy.
Him wrestling the pig on Ugly, which was a Timberland beat, it bridged the gap.
I love that album too.
Yeah, it bridged the gap. So, you know, like at the end of the day, it's like what bridged the gap was the music. At the end of the music is what bridged the gap. You country is everything, but everybody know Miss New Booty, right? Everybody love that song.
Everybody love that song.
So though the music is what bridges the gap. And so it's like we may not be from the same background, whatever, but that music is what brings us all, you know, together. And then, you know, you that's how it works. Yeah, in the Midwest, you know, like with Gambo's whole movement, man, you would be surprised how many people are on a journey of sobriety that rock with everything that like you would do as an artist, artist, DJ. And just because they're on their mission, they'll sit there like they won't downplay your mission, you know, and literally 99.9% of them won't try to preach to you about like, oh, what's that in your cup? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But at the end of the day, these places we would go to in that particular situation be packed out, wall to wall.
And see, I always tried to get a lot of the guys from the side that I come from to do different things and as such. Because see, what they'll do is y'all know this person, right? So like Ritz, right? I seen Ritz being the rappers of rap rooms. And I'll just be blunt. I seen dudes what they do in front of his face and then how they act behind his back. And I always say, why y'all try to treat him all funny? Like, he about to be out of here. He doing his thing. You know what I mean? Like, who knows how high he gonna go, but he not sitting around like y'all. He ain't running to go try to sell Zip when he leave here. He ain't running behind somebody chasing them to because when I met him, he was getting booked for the shows. They were trying to get rich. You know what I mean? So I always want to, because I want to say this to people out there: is don't judge anybody by their cover.
I'm telling you, man.
Don't judge them by your preconceived notions of what area rap.
And let me tell you, any artist that's gonna watch this podcast, it's so much money out there to get.
Mm-hmm.
If your goal is to build a career, you do not need to do what every other rapper is doing, or R&B singer, or producer. You don't need to sound like this guy unless you're a producer and you putting a beat out on YouTube that says Migos type beat or whatever. Type beat. Cool, you can do that. But if you trying to see me, I get artists that come to me all the time. Hey man, you make beats, and I don't produce like that. Like I don't put a whole catalog on say YouTube. When an artist come to me, they know exactly what they want. They want a club beat. Mm-hmm. And then I get them in the studio and I make it from scratch. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So there's a different lane out there for everybody. Chance. I don't produce. Well, I produced one, but I don't produce a lot of his stuff. Now I do have a very big A&R ear, so I'll help him pick a lot of the beats and come up with some different melodies and stuff like that because I know music. I've grown up around music, but I'm not gonna be like, man, Chance, man, why you don't let me produce that song? That's not my expertise.
Yeah.
You got to know the artist. You got to know your artist. You got to know, okay, I know this is what he wants. I can't get him what he wants. Excuse me. On that, you know what I mean? I can't get him what he wants. So I need to, have less of an ego to know that he can get it done over here. But we all gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lane out there for everybody. And for anybody, all the rappers that come on here and do the battle, you do not have to be like them dudes that you watch on YouTube. You don't have to be like them other dudes. Let me tell you something. A lot of DJs can't stand me. Why? Because I'm not the DJ that sit there and just put up a bunch of DJ pictures and DJ posts all the time. I don't do it. But at the end of the day, I'm winning bigger than them because I know how to keep good relationships. Relationships is everything out here. An artist may go into a venue and the DJ might not play a song that night and he may go off on the DJ. Bro, don't you know when you go off on the DJs, that's your first line of defense right there out here. If you get blackballed by the DJs, that's it. You might as well just start doing something else.
It's a wrap. I used to tell people that when I tell people, especially about my heyday when I was out there,
mm-hmm.
we used to go to 6 clubs a night
mm-hmm.
in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
We would literally go to 3-6 clubs a night, and they go, "How you do that?" Because I know the owners, because we were putting the sound systems in the daytime,
mm-hmm.
and I know the DJs. And when I go in the club, it's as simple as going in the club, having a relationship with the DJ, buying him a drink, and if he plays my song, cool. If he doesn't, most of the time he will. Oh, you don't drink? Let me buy your wings tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't do this?
Yeah.
Let me do this. Yo, what you need? You need this? Boom, boom, boom.
It's so refreshing to hear you say that because that's exactly how you do it. And at the end of the day, I might not play it tonight, but you go out there and get hot. I'm going to end up playing it.
Yes.
Yes. That's my mentality. It's always been my mentality on the music side of me. You might not play it tonight.
Might not play it.
Won't play it.
Right. and then you got relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. I'll say this, and this is a number one thing for artists out there. You cannot go to a DJ and expect him to break his set for your song because you want to play it at the top of the night. Because it's not going to do anything for your song.
Especially not like 1 in the morning, like you show up at 1 in the morning, like 1 in the morning with $100. Man, I don't even. My reputation means more than this $100.
Mm-hmm.
Because I actually did that before. Like artists will walk up there and they'll bring you $100, and then you play it. You're gonna play a verse and a hook, but they want to hear the whole song. They want to pop the bottles and be on top of the couch doing the most. But then you play the record with one hook and go out of it. They be like, why you went out of it?
Yeah,
because it's 1 in the morning, bro.
Yeah,
and I can't.
And you just interrupted my flow.
Mm-hmm.
Do you not see? As a DJ, the number one thing you doing is surveying and watching what the people doing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, sometimes you can get up there and a person got a record that you didn't know was that good, and then you make an impression on that DJ. But if you don't have a slapper that's already out there being worked, don't expect that DJ to do that for you.
Yeah,
I promise you, don't expect that DJ to do or show up earlier, cuz.
I tell people, man, let me tell you, that's the part of the grind that people never saw. With me in my early days, I would get there early and I would put my CDs on the bar like every night. Obviously, by the time the crowd got there, they didn't know. But I would go out there every night, put my CDs, when CDs were relevant, on the bar. Yeah, some people, at the end of the night, you look on the ground, some of them would like use it as a drink, coaster or throw it on the ground or something like that. But at the end of the day, look at me now. So all of that is an investment, time invested. And it was all worth it. It was all worth it.
Yeah. Because see, we was working at the audio shop. Like I said, they would call us to do their audio system. We did it all day, but you being extra nice. You get what I'm saying? Hey, come on back tonight. When you come back in there, I don't need to go see this girl, that girl, or show her who I am, or buy her a drink. I don't need to do none of that. The only thing I need to do is go straight to that DJ booth and get with the DJ. And you make that DJ feel like the person that he is. He's the person controlling the crowd. And make sure you show the promoter some love. You do that, and I promise you'll watch your career go way smoother.
I'm telling you, man, do that. You do that, you'll have a way better chance to win than to watch YouTube and try to emulate what these artists that have big engines behind them are doing. Because at the end of the day, they never going to tell you about the engine.
Yeah.
Never.
So we got a question. This is from Kitty Monroe. Sure, so you got to check her out. You'd think she's dope. She's fire. She said, so for me personally, a problem I run into is the entourage thing. I do my thing and end up getting the crowd's attention by myself, but still it's a good look to have your entourage. But just speaking for myself at home, people want to be involved when I'm buzzing heavy, but as soon as it's time to put the work in, it gets harder. They don't pay attention till an outsider does. So what advice can you give?
All right, so it's two ways to look at this. Well, wasn't it Kitty?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say stop focusing on home, like we was talking about earlier so much.
Yeah. So it's two ways to look at it, all right? Because when we go out on the road, we deal with say thousands of people a week, and it literally be 4 of us on the road, right? So you can look at it that way, as in like, you don't really need the entourage. The entourage look good, right? It look good. It might make you feel good. Like, like that's when you're walking into a club, that's your armor, those your riders and all the other stuff. But at the end of the day, is that really what's going to take you over the finish line? And then you got to start looking at like, I can tell you right now, the most successful people I know, they roll with like literally like 1 or 2 people.
Yep. On a normal night basis.
On a normal night basis.
On a normal night basis.
It's 1 or 2 people.
And see, another thing, like she said, when it's big nights, people come out. When it's small nights, people don't.
Right.
You got to realize who's going to be there, who can be there on a night-to-night basis, on the in-between nights. And that should really only be 2 or 3 people. Because you don't want to keep walking up the doors trying to get 5 people in for free.
Or more,
but
yeah.
On your big nights, you should start limiting and knowing how many people you need with you. Because, a promoter give you 10 to 15 people in. Well, you need to make that 10 to 15 people special people. You get what I'm saying? That's what we always did.
Yeah.
So on a normal night, it's 3 of us. On any normal night, it's the same 3 people. You and your 2 managers or assistant manager. That's the only people that you need with you. Yeah. And you need to come in and you need to make the biggest statement in the room with just you 3 people.
Yeah.
Your actions. Don't go nowhere and stay there too long. A lot of people don't know that. People look at how you react. They look at when you walk into a room. If you stay there for 3 hours, that means you don't have shit to do. You're no better than them.
Yeah.
I
You
would
got
say,
everything knocked out. No, hour max. Hour max.
Hour max.
Yeah.
And I'm
max.
going.
but I would
Yeah.
say, I would say in the beginning though, it's different. In the beginning, build as much relationship as possible.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah, in the
But
beginning.
you need to be building your relationships in that hour.
yeah.
You don't need to be standing there like you got nothing to do.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah,
like when
yeah.
you at
Facts,
work.
facts.
It's just like when you at work.
Yeah,
You can't be just standing around doing nothing.
yeah.
Like he said, treat it like a full-time job. I'm moving around, I'm bussing. I'm talking to the waitress. I'm talking to the
Yeah,
bartenders.
yeah.
Know them bartenders.
Yeah.
They need to know you. Hey, Kitty. Kitty.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He says,
Bartenders are important out here. Yeah, that's it. Straight up.
Definitely.
Yeah, nah. So that's really it, man. If you're gonna have people around you, make sure
They pull weight.
people that really ride with you,
Hey,
because you
word.
can get more accomplished with a couple people than a whole bunch.
Yeah,
He said,
that's the thing. You got to make sure that the people around you, they either want to succeed. Okay, so here's the thing: is like the biggest issue is when you have people around you that they want everything, but they don't want to do anything, and even whether it's for themselves or it's for whatever it may be. Like, look, I've been the guy that's the headliner, and had people that work the merch booth, and then I've been on other people's tours working their merch booth for them. And either way, it's because whoever's involved, you got to want the other people to succeed. It's just is what it is. You can't be a hater. Like, at the end of the day, like, you can't have haters around you.
Well, you just said a mouthful right there, man. Let me tell you something. I don't know any hater that is successful. I don't know one.
Yeah.
I do.
You know one?
Nick Wright.
Who?
Fox News, Nick Wright. Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah, Stephen A. Smith ain't a hater.
Oh, well, I'm talking about.
I can name a couple more. Even in rap, I know a couple.
You know what? I think Stephen A. Smith, I don't, you know what? Not even to get into Stephen A. Smith, but I don't think he a hater.
Nah.
I think he knows his audience and he plays to that. For sure. I could be wrong.
I'm going to just leave it right here. That was to be funny. I don't want to go too far into a tangent. As a Cowboys fan, I know what a hater is.
Yeah.
So,
But what happened every time he bet and don't the Cowboys end up winning? He got to walk around in them cowboy hats and the jersey, crazy.
Yeah, but you allow, they just allow haters in certain places. But like you said, I don't really know too many haters that win either.
Yeah.
Haters don't really win, and they show themselves. And when a person shows you who they are, believe them.
You know what it is? It's not even, and it's not even the people that are going to hate on you directly. It's typically the people that are going to ride your wave and hate behind your back. But the thing is they may be successful for a little bit, but as soon as whoever's pulling all the weight steps away, they disappear.
So everybody in your camp gotta understand the mission.
Yeah.
Everybody.
So if you have somebody like, for instance, we had to weave a lot of this stuff out in Chance's early part of his career. If you got people around you that want to be in your position, right, then you need to get as far away from them people as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has to be on the same page. Okay, you are the person that's going to take us through cross the finish line. Everybody need to be like the booster jets. Everybody need to be the booster jets to push you through that. If you got people like out there and you are supposed to be the person that everybody's supposed to be paying attention to, but they over here talking about look at me, look at me, look at me, you need to get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the hardest people to get rid of, because that can be your family.
Facts.
That could be the family member that you brought with you.
And this is actually a Gamble will tell you this. This is a part of mine that I am so into the artist shining. Gamble would tell you when I don't like being around people.
I don't either.
I don't want to be around Nobody put all the emphasis and all the attention on the artist. As far as me, as far as I'm concerned, I'm just the guy in the background. I'm the DJ. I'm the DJ, I'm the manager, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to announce none of that. I'm going to sit there with my glasses on and I'm going to chill. But at the end of the day, everybody has a position to play. If everybody trying to get to the same place at the same time, you're never going to win.
You're never going to win.
Fact. That's a fact, man. Well, Striz, man, I don't want to keep you too long, man. I appreciate it. You've been on here for a minute.
Man, it's all good, man.
We've been on here for a minute, but
hey, Gambo, you know what? Okay, let's go over the variables.
Okay, let's do it.
It's Tuesday.
Okay.
Rona has made me push our whole tour schedule back to June.
Damn.
Like literally, I just was on the phone yesterday with the booking agent, and I'm to the point where, and I get it, the booking agents, the booking agents make money off of booking our shows. So they want to book, but we not booking nothing until we know these states are open. So we have literally all these shows on the books that just keep getting pushed back and back. So my next day to entertain booking, starting to book the 2020 schedule is May 29th. So I have nothing else to do, bro. So thank you for having me. I appreciate you inviting me, bro. I'm here, man. I'm out here. My kids, they young adults, man. So, they not knocking down my door to hang out, man. So, everybody, I appreciate the invite, man, and coming being able to share a little bit of knowledge, man. And if any of the artists, have a question for me, man, I ain't hard to get at, man. I'm on all the social media, Strizzo on Facebook, official Strizzo on Instagram, Strizzo on Twitter. You can just Google Strizzo, and I'm available. I am not hard to find. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Strizzo's a good dude. I will vouch that Strizzo's just one of those dudes that, as long as you treat him with respect, me and Strizzo has never got into it, and like he's got into it with a few people I know. Yeah, we have never got into it because but there ain't nothing to get into it about.
I'm like, and that's just my zodiac sign, Leo. I go from 0 to 100. I'll be cool with everybody. If you flip my switch,
North Dakota,
yeah,
or South Dakota.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
Who's some of your ATL peoples? I'm in the A. I'm in Atlanta.
Hey, you know Rory. Rory Simmons. Ferrari Simmons.
I don't know him personally, but I do know him.
Yeah, that's my dude. So he went to school at USF, man. I actually produced one of his first singles when he was, doing the rap thing.
I never knew he rapped like that.
He the music director up there now at the radio station.
But let me tell you something. Mm-hmm. Him and is it DC? Him and DC. Mm-hmm. That's the voice of the young people right there. Mm-hmm. That radio voice, what they do is amazing for this city and what this city needs. That's that breath of fresh air. Just music in general. Yeah. So you bigging up people that I actually like.
Yeah,
I like.
I rock with him. Me and Gip from Good and Mob, we super cool.
Okay.
Yeah, me and him real super cool, man. It's so crazy, man. I wish I would have knew you a few months ago. I was in Atlanta, literally 3 weeks in a row with 69 Boys. A couple months back. I want to say in January, February. I was up in Atlanta like 3 weeks in a row.
I'll say word.
Yeah, but definitely, man. When I come up there, I'm actually a mentor of mine live up there too, man. And
we definitely
Bobby,
get up.
You know Bobby, don't you, Gambo?
Bobby.
But Bubba's former manager.
Yeah.
Yeah. So me and Bobby Stamps, man, we super cool, man. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all, man. But yeah, any artist, man, you could definitely go out there and be successful, man. And I don't like to sound cliche and be like, well, if I did it, you can do it. But I promise you, man, I'm just a DJ that, and I'm not the rawest DJ. I'm a good DJ now, but I'm not the rawest. Like, I'm not going to sit up there and try to have a scratch battle against like Jazzy Jeff or nobody. you know? But put me in, and Gambo will vouch for this, put me in front of any crowd.
Yeah.
Any crowd.
Yeah.
Like any crowd. Like,
yeah, country shows, and they'll be like,
like
yo.
I'm not even talking about like, oh, well, what about this crowd? No, any crowd.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
it's takeoff time. Space shuttle.
Rocket.
I like that. I like that.
Definitely. Well, yo, Striz, man, I appreciate you, bro. I might be out Tampa. I might be out there shooting some videos for Nate coming up soon.
Hey, yeah, he was telling me that also too, man. I told you you're gonna be shooting a Good Vibes Only video, right? Yeah. So we got a plan that obviously everything got knocked off by 2 months.
Yeah.
But the concept, just to give you the concept real quick, not to let everybody, all your valued listeners, but it's gonna be a skating rink type situation.
Okay.
So that's gonna be the skating rink, like leading up. And now with everything we just dealt with, now we're gonna like build up to the skating rink. You get what I'm saying? Like, we just happen to be out the house because of Rona, and now we're at the skating rink.
Got you.
All right, so just keep that in your head. I'm sorry, y'all. I had to let y'all get into the plot of the video. Good Vibes Only. Okay.
No problem, bro.
Hey, and y'all go and follow my Spotify playlist. It's called COVID-19 We Survived playlist. So basically, it's probably at about 1,000 right now. It's just full of new music, hits, and everything. Gambo, you need to let me know what song you may put on there, bro.
Oh man, I didn't even really make music anymore, man. I ain't made music in a minute.
You can,
I'll get some. I'll find some shit.
Bro.
I'll put some of my boys on there. That's what I'll do.
Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna text away, man.
I got some boys for you.
Yeah, hey, Cheeks, bro, send them over to me, man. I definitely keep at least 6 slots a month that just for like VIPs. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you just let me know, man. I got y'all.
What's your IG?
Official Strizzo. Official Strizzo is my IG. And it's so crazy. One of my older records, Bootleg, just went like kind of viral. They did like a whole challenge off of it, and it's crazy because it's been bringing me like about 300 new followers a day, which has been a blessing. But it's crazy, all these little young dudes like all up on like, hey man, I'm like, man, look, bro.
I just followed you.
Okay, for sure. I'm gonna follow back, bro.
I just followed you.
Yeah, all right. And everybody out there, I'm sure we'll be next week with a battle. We just got to figure it out. Who's going to be battling.
What's the battles coming next week?
Yeah. I don't know anything yet, so I'm just a guy with the computer. So we'll have that lined up. Make sure everybody shares this. If you don't follow the page already, follow the page. Hit the notification bell so you get notified when we go live. And yeah, man, it was definitely dope. Chilling with everybody. We appreciate y'all. Make sure you guys tune in next week and we'll check you out.
Much love.